Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss microorganisms, friend and foe for class 8. This is your subject science, chapter 2, lecture 3. This is the summarization of the chapter. I know you have already studied the chapter in detail, but today I am going to cover all the necessary topics in a nutshell. Topics to be discussed are microorganisms, where do microorganisms live, microorganisms and us, commercial use of microorganisms, vaccine, increasing soil fertility, harmful microorganisms, food poisoning, food preservation, different methods to preserve food, pasteurization, nitrogen fixation and nitrogen cycle. First of all, what are microorganisms? As you can see, the organisms which cannot be seen by your eyes, because you must have never seen any kind of microorganism near you, but they are present and they are plenty in number. Okay, so organisms which are too small to be seen by the naked eye, especially a single celled organism, are called microorganisms or microbes. Microorganisms are classified into four major groups, as you can see in this picture. These groups are virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa and some algae also. Okay, so bacteria, fungi, protozoa and some algae are the type of microorganisms, and we can classify them in this category. Viruses are also microscopic. They reproduce only inside the cells of the host organisms. As the viruses are dead when they are outside the host organism, so they only reproduce inside the host organisms and they start to multiply inside the organism, which can be a bacteria or a plant or an animal. Example of the viruses are dengue virus, which cause dengue, HIV, which stands for human immunodeficiency virus, polio virus, which causes polio, and coronavirus, which is very famous these days. HIV causes AIDS, which is also known as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Other virus you can see in these pictures like hepatitis C virus, coronavirus, herpes virus, bird flu virus, smallpox virus and influenza virus. This influenza virus is the one by which is responsible for the common cold or the cough and cold. Now, where do microorganisms live? Microorganisms may be single cell, that is bacteria, some algae, protozoa, or multicellular, that is algae and fungi, can survive under all types of environment. See, these microorganisms can survive in very harsh environment also, cold environment also. That's why they are found everywhere, ranging from ice cold climate to hot springs and to desert to marshy lands. So they can survive in marshy lands also, they can survive in deserts also, and they can also survive in hot springs also. And there are some microorganisms which found in human bodies. Okay, so they are also found in the bodies of other organisms, including humans. Growth of some microorganisms depend on other organisms, while other organisms exist freely. Okay, some of the microorganism growth depends on other organisms, while other of the microorganisms are existing freely in nature. Microorganisms like amoeba can live alone, while fungi and bacteria may live in colonies. So the microorganisms like amoeba are sonolial, and fungi and bacteria are having colonies. They are living in a colony. Microorganisms and us. Some of microorganisms are beneficial in many ways, while some others are harmful and cause diseases. As you must have observed that the microorganisms are also present in the curd. The name of the microorganism which is present in the curd is Lactobacillus, which is a rod-shaped bacteria. And it is responsible for the formation or the converting of the milk to the curd. So that is not a harmful microorganism for us. That's a useful one. So there is a category of microorganisms. Few are friendly and few are very harmful. So first we will talk about the friendly microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for various purposes. Some microorganisms are used in production of curd, bread and cake. Some microorganisms have been used for the production of alcohol since ages. They are also used in cleaning up of the environment as composers. For example, the organic waste, vegetable peels, remains of animals, feces, etc. are broken down into harmful and useful substance by bacteria. In agriculture fields, microorganisms are used to increase soil fertility by fixing nitrogen. Okay, so you must have known about nitrogen fixing bacteria also. Okay, and they are going to fix the nitrogen in the soil and help in the formation of proper soil also for growth of plants. Now we will come to commercial use of microorganisms. For large scale production of alcohol, wine and acetic acid, which is also known as vinegar, microorganisms are used. For commercial production of alcohol and wine, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice and crushed fruit juices, etc. Now we will talk about medicinal use of microorganisms. Whenever we fall ill, the doctor may give us some antibiotic tablets. Now you must have been wondering, what are antibiotics? Okay, and why it is suggested by the doctor. So we will talk about antibiotics now. Capsules or injections like penicillin. Penicillin was the first antibiotic which was made up of microorganisms. So these are basically made up of microorganisms. These days, the medicine produced from bacteria and fungi kill or stop the growth of disease-causing microorganisms. Such medicines are antibiotics. For example, streptomycin, tetracycline and erythromycin. Okay, so these medicines have a bacteria or fungi which is kill and which will never cause any disease in the body. These ones are given to us and in a form of medicines which are known as antibiotics. Now we will talk about, are all microorganisms harmful? No, we have to categorize them on the basis of their requirements. They are beneficial also, they are harmful also. So as you can see on the left hand side, we have all the beneficial microorganisms here in the picture, and on the right hand side we have harmful microorganisms. As you can see, planktons are very useful. In the food also, microorganisms are useful in making bread, curd, alcohol, vinegar, wines, etc. They are also acting as decomposers and they help for the soil fertility also. They are also available in the intestines and they are used for digesting the food also. And they are used in antibiotics, which are the medicines which is given by the doctors to us. Now when we will talk about harmful microorganisms, they cause illness, they are pathogenic, they spoil the fruits, they spoil the vegetables. Okay, so these category of harmful microorganisms, you have already been known with these one. That's how the dengue virus has been responsible for killing so many of people, and how this coronavirus is killing so many of people throughout the world. The antibiotics are made by growing specific microorganisms and are used to cure a variety of diseases. Antibiotics should be taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. See, there is a particular dose of antibiotic. If a doctor has prescribed you to take an antibiotic for 3 days, morning and evening, you need to be very strictly following it. Like you have to take those antibiotics morning also, evening also, because if in case you miss any of the antibiotic, then these antibiotics will stop reacting in your body. Okay, so it should be always taken by the advice of a qualified doctor, and it should be always followed all the things which he is telling, that it should be taken morning, evening, after meal, whatever the conditions are as prescribed by the qualified doctor. Next point is, antibiotics are even added with the feed of livestock and poultry for checking microbial infection in animals. See, these animals are also suffering from many of the diseases. As we have talked about animal husbandry in chapter 1, crop production and management, this animal husbandry has the livestock and all the poultry farming and the dairy, thus the milking animals comes inside animal husbandry. So these all also get the microbial infection, and we can add the antibiotics in their livestock, in their eating things, so that these animals can survive with all these microbial infection, and they can get cure also. Microorganisms are also used to control many plant diseases. Next will be vaccine. Vaccine is the one which we get from the very childhood. After taking birth, after 2 days only, we get so many of vaccination. The father of vaccination was Edward Jenner. He has made the first vaccination, okay, on cowpox, and it was used for smallpox, okay. And what is vaccine? Now we will talk about it. When a disease-carrying microbes enters our body, the antibodies produced by our body fight with the invader. Invader is the one which is coming from outside inside our body, and we don't want that particular thing inside our body, so we will start fighting against it. Okay. Now please do not get confused between antibodies and antibiotics. Okay. Antibiotics are the medicines which we eat for any kind of bacterial infection, and antibodies are produced by our immune system for fighting against the diseases. So antibodies are producing inside our body from our immune system, and antibiotics are the medicine which we take from like in the form of pill or in the form of capsule. Okay. So what happened in vaccination? We take that disease causing microbe, a weak disease causing microbe, and we put the vaccination inside the person's body. Now what will happen? Okay, if the microbes enter again the body, also remember that how to fight with the microbes. Okay, so first of all, what we are going to do with the vaccination, particularly in the dose of vaccination, there is a dead or weakened microbe, and that is injected in a healthy body. The body fights and kills the producing suitable antibodies. Body doesn't know that that particular is the dead or weakened microbe, and it is given in the form of vaccination. So our body will start producing antibodies against that particular invader. Okay, and if in real if that invader comes inside our body, then already the antibodies are there inside the body, so they will start fighting it again for that particular microbe. The antibodies remain in the body for protecting from the disease causing microbes. This is how a vaccine works. Several diseases like cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox and hepatitis can be prevented by vaccination. Okay. So I guess you are clear with it. I will give you again a small introduction about it, that how the vaccination is working. That for example, if you get tuberculosis vaccination in your childhood, okay, and you have already in the vaccination there is a dead and weakened microbe of that tuberculosis microbe, okay, so it is already there inside your body, and your body is have already prepared antibodies against it. Okay, so what will happen when you will actually get any tuberculosis microbe inside your body? The antibodies will find that microbe and will think that this bacteria has already caused some problem in the past. So now it is going to create a problem inside the body again. So it will start fighting against then tuberculosis bacteria, and that will never cause any disease in your body again. So this is how a vaccination works. Increasing soil fertility. Some bacteria and blue-green algae are able to increase the fertility of the soil by fixing nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen. These microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixers. Okay, so these blue-green algae and some bacteria are going to fix the nitrogen and will enrich the soil. Okay, so that the biological nitrogen fixer bacteria which are doing all this, which are present in the nature, so they help in the increasing of soil fertility also. And you can see the image of nitrogen fixing blue-green algae as in the figure. So they are given. You can go through these diagrams also. And now what is the use of cleaning the environment? At the time of making manure, we collect waste of plants, vegetable, fruits from nearby houses and garden. They put them in a pit meant for waste disposal. After some time, it is decomposed by microorganisms and gets converted to manure. By this method, environment is cleaned. Okay, so by this method, they are decomposing the vegetable peels and fruits in the garden, and they are making it as a manure. It is helping you for the plant also, for nourishing the plant also, and it is cleaning the environment also. Now we will talk about harmful microorganisms. Some of the microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Now we will learn about, if the microorganism is harmful, it will be known as a pathogen. Okay, in human beings, plants and animals, some of the microorganisms cause diseases. Such disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Food, clothing and leather are spoiled due to some harmful microorganisms. Here is a complete chart. This I have taken from your NCERT book only. You can see the human diseases like tuberculosis, measles, chickenpox, polio, cholera, typhoid, hepatitis B, malaria. You can see the causative agent also, that what is the causative microorganism. For tuberculosis, it is a bacteria. What is the mode of transmission? Mode of transmission means how it is going to spread. Okay, so it can be spread by air. What is the preventing measurement you can take? So these are the preventing measurement for tuberculosis, measles, chickenpox and polio. That keep the patient in a complete isolation. Isolation means separate. Keep the personal belongings of the patient away from those of the others. Vaccination to be given at suitable age. So all these things can be cured if the vaccination is given at the suitable age. Next is cholera. Bacteria, cholera and typhoid both from bacteria. Mode of transmission is water or by food. Okay. Then what is the preventive measure? Maintain personal hygiene and good sanitary habits. Sanitary means cleaning habits. Consume properly cooked food and boiled drinking water, and the vaccination. Hepatitis B virus. Mode of transmission water. Drink boiled drinking water and have a vaccination. Malaria, it is caused by a protozoa and mode of transmission is mosquito. Okay, causative agent is female Anopheles mosquito, and the protozoa causative agent is Plasmodium. Okay, malaria has 3 types, Plasmodium malariae, and there are 2 more. So preventive measures are use mosquito net and repellents, spray insecticides and control breeding of mosquito, but not allowing water to collect in the surrounding, because the malaria mosquitoes lay eggs in the dirty water, and dengue mosquito lay eggs in a fresh water also. Disease causing microorganisms in animal. Some of microorganisms not only cause diseases in humans and plants but also in other animals. For example, anthrax. Okay, it is an example of a very dangerous human and cattle virus. Okay, human and cattle disease caused by a bacterium. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by a virus. Okay, so these are not only for humans, it is there for plants also and for animals also. So it's not like that microorganisms can only cause damage to humans. They can cause damage to the cattle, to the plants, to everything. As you can see, some of the common plant diseases caused by microorganisms, like citrus canker, it is a plant disease caused by a microorganism which is in bacteria. Mode of transmission is air, and you can see the figure also. Rust of wheat is a microorganism, is fungi, and mode of transmission is air and seeds, and you can see that in the diagram. And yellow vein mosaic of bhindi. Bhindi is also known as okra in English, ladyfinger also. And the microorganism is virus, and it is mode of transmission is an insect. So you can see in these figures. Now, what is food poisoning? And you must be thinking how a food can get poison. Okay, it's not a poison, it's a food, but it is becoming poison. So this happens when the microorganisms spoil the food and start secreting toxic substances that cause the food poisoning, which could be very dangerous. I have few of my known people who has died because of food poisoning also. Okay, food poisoning in human could be due to the consumption of spoiled food by some microorganisms that grow on our food, produce toxic substances and make the food poisonous, causing serious diseases. So it is very important that we preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled by the microorganisms. Now, what is food preservation? See, microorganisms spoil our food. Spoiled food emits bad smell and has a bad taste also, and change the color also. And we will discuss some common methods to preserve food in our home. So these are the different methods. Preservation by oil and vinegar, storing it in an airtight containers, cold treatment, heat treatment, preservation of by common salt, preservation by sugar. So these you can use at your homes also. For cold treatment is like refrigerator, and we will talk about pasteurization also now. Chemical preservative. It could be sodium benzoate, sorbate and proponates. These are being used by the packets thing which we are taking out like chips and all. And sodium benzoate is not a good preservative, and but these chemical preservatives are used by many of the companies. And whenever we buy any kind of article which is like for example the chips and all, the sodium benzoate is being used in that. Now we will talk about pasteurization. See, pasteurization, if you have observed, the milk packets of Mother Dairy and Amul, Vita, etc., it is always written over there pasteurized milk. So it stands with pasteurization. As you can see the name, say the name, I have written pasteur in red and ization in blue. So it is like this only, that pasteur. I just want to tell you that it is first we are heating it and then we are cooling it. So when we are heating it, we are doing it at 70 degree. Okay, and when we are cooling, so it is getting cool. So as you can see, the fresh milk is taken from the cow or from the buffalo, whatever it is, and then it is going to the inlet, and there is a heating section, then there is a cooling section, and then when we are finally getting the milk on the right hand side, we are getting the pasteurized milk out. So this is pasteurization, and it was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Now coming to nitrogen fixation. See, nitrogen fixation, we have 78% of nitrogen present in the atmosphere, and the cycle or the amount of nitrogen remains constant in the atmosphere. So there is something which is fixing the nitrogen. How it is getting fixed? The first one is rhizobium, which is a bacteria present in the root nodules of leguminous plant. Leguminous plant means dicot plants like pulses. Dicot means which can cut into two equal halves. Like we will talk about kidney bean, which is also known as rajma. So when you cut that when you see the kidney bean, it can be divided into two equal halves. Okay, same with the gram also. So those bacteria are only found in dicot plants. So rhizobium is involved in the fixation of nitrogen in leguminous plants. Leguminous means dicot plants, and they have root nodules also, or you can say pulses. Nitrogen also get fixed through the action of lightning, but the amount of nitrogen remain constant in the atmosphere. So these are two, by lightning and by nitrogen fixing bacteria, rhizobium, and by this there is a constant nitrogen in the atmosphere. The nitrogen cycle, we have already discussed it, and let's have a quick review of nitrogen cycle again. You can see atmospheric nitrogen is there. Okay, it is getting fixed. 78% of atmospheric nitrogen is there. It is getting fixed. You can come to the you can see to the left hand side, lightning and by the nitrogen fixing bacteria, which is also known as blue green algae. Okay, then bacteria in turn fix nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds. Compounds of nitrogen is coming to the soil. From the soil, what is there in the soil? Plants are there. So plants has been taking the nitrogen from the soil, and plants have been consumed by animals. See, few of the animals directly eat plants, and we are also animals. Humans also comes in the category of animals. You will learn this in your 9th standard. So humans are also there. So we are also consuming plants. So like vegetables and fruits. So they are coming from plants only. So we are consuming plants. So animals eat plants and humans also eat plants. Then they do nitrogen. Then animals what do? They secrete nitrogenous waste from excreta. Every day we are excreting. That is the nitrogenous waste is coming, and it is coming in the form of ammonia. And some of the plants and some of the animals die, so there is the body also of the animals and the plants over the soil. So then again this nitrogen is coming to the soil, then it is going by the bacteria turn compounds of nitrogen into gaseous nitrogens in the gaseous form, and then it is again taken by the atmospheric nitrogen. So this is how the nitrogen cycle is, and this is how it is going to fix the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere, that is 78%. For homework you need to check www.edquark.com for your homework. I hope you all have your login ID and passwords. And assignment 1 will be given on 23rd of April. Assignment 2 will be given on 24th of April. Assignment 3 will be given on 25th of April. Test of chapter 2, that is microorganisms, friend and foe, will be there on 28th of April. That's all for today. Thank you.